Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Rant Squad. I am the Water Dog. This is
Clint Jordan.
And this is
Bernard.
And gang, we're going to talk about how we did with our preseason picks for fantasy standouts, brother. We're going to look at who we chose for our top 5 and just kind of how they fell. And so we're going to get started. Let's start with the number 1 spots, brother, which is the quarterback position. And here's my top 5. I had Josh Allen finishing first, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and then Jared Goff. When we look at the quarterbacks, man, I'm a little off there, aren't I? Jackson, Burrow, Allen, Mayfield, Daniels, Goff, Darnold, Hurts, Mahomes, and Nix. Of them into the top 10, how many did I get?
You got 4?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 out of 5, not bad.
4 out of the 5 in the top 10.
Your miss was an injury, so that's pretty.
So that's not too bad. So I did a little better than I thought I did actually. You know, I was really high on Goff, and he did hit the 6th slot. You know, the surprises for me sneaking in there really were the rookies. You know, you had Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix.
Nix just turned it on late so well.
You know, those 2 guys hitting into the top 10. That kind of shocked me right there. That they would be that proficient. And I think Jaden Daniels is the big surprise to me. I thought Bo Nix would have a good year simply because Sean Payton was his head coach. I had talked about that at the beginning of the season. Sure. Bo Nix, you know, saying of all the rookie quarterbacks, I thought he would have the best season. But then Jaden Daniels just really kind of blew up there in Washington. Cliff Kingsbury did a great job with him. I mean, the offense just, you know, with him has been a highlight. And, of course, the Commanders are in the playoffs, brother. So you can't ask for more than that. Brendan, your top 5. Mr. Josh Allen, you got Pat Mahomes, you got C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy. How many did you get? 3. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, Stroud last year, I thought going into this year would have been top 10 in it. Purdy, I just think the 49ers injuries hurt him. Lamar Jackson, it surprises me only because I thought Derrick Henry would take so much of the rushing and the rushing touchdowns away.
He did. He did take a lot of them.
I've got a thing I'm gonna do with what I was right when I was wrong. You know,
And you 16
and I said he would get 15 touchdowns.
I know. I think you said 16 and 6. I think you said 16 and 6.
But he did get that. And Lamar Jackson still blew up.
Still blew up. Yeah.
You know, I guess, but when it comes to how many we got, we all can't be as good as Clint over there.
Oh, well, thank you. That's such a nice transition.
So Clint, you got Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen as your top 5. All of them are in the top 10.
Man, 5 for 5. That feels good, you know. And obviously, Mahomes was my biggest miss. I did have him one. I thought he would have a big bounce back year. But
I did too, but it didn't take place till the second half of the season.
And really, I mean, Jalen Hurts was I think the number 3 until of course he missed the last 2 weeks. So I feel good. Like I said, I nailed the quarterbacks this year. I had a good feeling about it. I'd say the biggest miss was I thought Mahomes would have the bigger year, and I thought Allen would have a slight step back, and he was still number 3.
Of the 10 quarterbacks outside the rookies, who surprises you?
Oh, it's got to be Sam Darnold. I mean, I didn't expect. In my wildest dreams, you tell me JJ's out. I thought we were looking at like a 24 touchdown, maybe 9 interception, a game manager type season where they really relied on Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones. So Darnold's got to be my big surprise.
I think like when I'm looking at this, mine was actually Goff. Only because I thought Campbell's mentality was just going to be run, play good defense, and he would have okay stats, not top 10 stats, because the running backs would be so high. And when they were just able to let that offense go through him, I was quite surprised at that. Darnold I saw because I didn't think they had the run game. Like Minnesota didn't have the same run game as Detroit, so he was going to have to throw to Justin Jefferson so much. So Goff surprised me.
Goff, I picked him to be in the top 5, and that's because of the talent that he's got. I mean, you got Brown, you know what I'm saying? You got Williams, and then you got Laporta, you know, and then you got, you know, Jamar Gibbs out of the backfield. To me, it's just the talent that is there that you're going to put up points in that offense, and you're gonna get some of that scoring in the football. One of the things that you'll notice too about all these quarterbacks that are really up there, and I'll always go back to that. They all run the football, and because you can run the football, your offensive. Well, I mean, the running back they had, Chase Brown, he ran the ball good for them.
Oh, I thought you meant the quarterbacks are running.
No, I'm talking about the team running the football.
Gotcha.
They ran the football.
My bad.
Heck yeah! Every one of those guys could run. The only quarterback on that list that to me that just didn't really have a major running game was Daniels over there for the Commanders.
Yeah, well, and Brian Robinson was good the first half, and the second half it kind of disappeared. I agree.
But all these other teams, it's like they can run the football, and they all got running backs. Most of them are going to fall into the top 10 almost on all of those teams, just about, or at least in the top 15. Run the football, you have success. You have success, and it just drives me crazy. All right. Speaking, let's do running backs. Running backs. Now, I'm like everybody else. I picked Christian McCaffrey.
No, not like everybody else. Hold your tongue there.
I'm just saying, as a top running back. Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Bijan Robinson, and Jamari Gibbs. And of course, when you look at the top 10 running backs, it finished Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Gibbs, Robinson, Jacobs, Williams, Cook, Connor, Taylor, and Mixon. That's your top 10. And how many did I hit? Two. I'm looking at right there.
Yeah.
Bijan and Gibbs.
Bijan and Gibbs.
That's
two
it.
Second-year
So
backs.
two backs. Etienne fell off the mat completely.
Yeah. Hall started off good too, and he had a couple injury games, and he just fell off.
And then of course Christian got hurt as well, and so I was a little shocked at that. Of the running backs in the top 10, the one that I think really kind of shocked me because I just thought he'd already played his best season, and that was Connor.
Oh yeah.
But
they love him there in Arizona.
But I mean, they utilized him, and he was their best player on their team this year. And I just, to me, of the players that got in there, to me, he was the most surprising.
Sure.
All righty. So let's go here, Mr. Brendan. You were same boat as I. We picked the first two same players, McCaffrey and Hall. Then you went Taylor, Robinson, Barkley, and then those all hit. And so you had 3. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think, once again, Christian McCaffrey, I don't want to just keep saying it, but I think the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, anybody in their right mind would have picked him to start the season.
No.
What do you mean?
Got him number 2.
No, but not number 1. I didn't pick him number 1.
That's not what we're talking about.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all sound like I would have taken. I proved it.
I know, but he would have been a top 5 running back.
Sure, yes.
And if not, you need to go to the cuckoo's nest. Okay? So that was just surprising. Breece Hall looked so good coming out. And then the other 3, I just thought they would get the volume.
And they did. They did.
Yeah. So there you go. Clint, you got the number 1 guy.
That's right. Everybody else went CMC. I went Saquon Barkley as my number 1, and I was right.
That's why he's so excited.
That's right.
Then he went McCaffrey, Hall, Bijan, and Travis, and so you're in the same boat, kind of much as me. You got 2 of the.
Yeah, I got two of the 5. Like I said, I'm still happy with Breece Hall. I think I'm curious how far he was because for most of the year he was a top 12 back. Etienne's got to be the biggest shock just falling off. And then looking at that list. James Conner, they just seem to love James Conner in Arizona. They gave him an extension again, so he'll be back next year as long as he's healthy off his little injury. So, but nicely done bringing in 3 out of the 5. But yes, I stake my ground to Saquon Barkley this year. I was a believer. Remember, what did I say about the Eagles? I said it's going to be a rough start. It's going to be a rocky start. New center, they got to figure it out, and then they went on their stretch, and they did.
Oh yeah. All right, let's go to the wide receivers. And the top 10 receivers were Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, which actually surprised me that he ended up being second because he just had fewer touchdowns than what I think we're accustomed to. St. Brown, Thomas, the rookie, McLaurin, Lamb, Smith, Najibba, Evans, Brown, and Judy. That's your top 10. I took Tyreek Hill as the number 1 receiver. I did take Amon St. Brown. I took A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, and then Devontae Adams to make the top 10. And when I'm looking here at my list, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3. So I got 3. I missed on Hill, and I missed on Adams. And I think, to me, that was the Tyreek Hill performance is just because I've seen so many of these other receivers perform with the second-string quarterbacks, with the third-string quarterbacks. And he could not do it, which tells me you're not getting open. because you have to be a receiver that can get open. And Tyreek's ability right now is just simply run down the field, and so that limited him. So to me, that was the biggest surprise. Shocker as far as who made the list. Jerry
Judy and Ninjigba after having such a poor rookie campaign.
But I thought he would. I thought
he'd be better, but I didn't think he'd do this. And then Mike Evans missing all those, and Brown. Evans and Brown both missing a lot of games, but still coming through.
But Judy with no quarterback making the top 10.
Because it was all volume. I mean, it's the only person to throw to there.
Yeah.
But I think the more impressive stat is how far Chase finished up ahead of Jefferson. I mean, it was just it's ridiculous.
Well,
76 fantasy points.
I mean, but he was the guy.
He was
in Cincinnati.
It
was the combo,
Oh,
Burrow, Chase, and that you talk about just one of the most potent combos in football right there.
Won a lot of people championships that stack this year.
And so, but that's kind of how I felt. Brendan, your top 5. You took Tyreek Hill as well. You went Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson. 3 of your guys hit, 2 of your guys didn't. So it was Hill and Wilson. What you got?
I think the thing with Hill is just the drop off. He's been with the number 1 receiver,
or top 3,
or at
for
least top 3, and just to fall off the top 10 was surprising to me. Injuries or not, I thought he still would be top 10. And then Garrett Wilson, I just thought that this Jets offense was going to click. The idea of him being top 5, I think, kind of died in the first few weeks of the season.
Well, no, he was like top 7 halfway through, but then just Adams coming in, just
with
taking
Devontae
over
Adams,
so much
that
of
just kind of ended that dream. But yeah, Hill to me is really the disappointing one because I thought he was going to be that, the money's in the bank, just draft him, he's gonna get it.
Yep. Clint, you took Jamar Chase, got the number 1 guy again. There you go. Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, and Amon St. Brown. And it looks like 3 of your guys hit. You missed on Hill just like us, and Deebo Samuel.
And that's got to be the one that I'm disappointed about. And my thing was, you look at Deebo a few years ago when Cup won the Triple Crown. Deebo had an outstanding wide receiver. He was the fantasy wide receiver 2 that year. Most years he's probably the one with that season. And this year, I just thought, this was the perfect storm for Deebo to come back out and have another great year. I mean, Ayuk got hurt. McCaffrey was hurt. They were doing everything they can. But there's something about Deebo. He was just off this year, dropping clear passes. Just couldn't. Something was off this year. It's unfortunate to see because I felt like the writing was there for Deebo to have a really, really good season. He was the guy. He had the potential to be the guy. So definitely hurt that. That was definitely a big miss. But I'm happy about the others and always loving to see my number 1 player getting it done.
Okay, let's go to the tight end slot. And when we look at the top 10 tight ends this year, Kittle finished first, followed by the rookie Bowers. Then you got Andrews, who made the comeback this year. McBride in the second year. Smith, Laporta, Kraft, Ertz, Freiermuth, and Travis Kelce with a late surge gets into the top 10 on the tight end slots. I took Kelce to be the number 1 tight end. I was like you. I just thought Patrick Mahomes and Kelce, they would light it up. It took them the middle of the season on to get started. For whatever reason, that offense just took a while to get their timing down or whatever. But they've got it down now, which is kind of scary now that Hollywood Brown is back. And so to me,
and they're starting to get Xavier involved a little more,
and so that's a scary offense
and
right
they've
now.
got a good 2-headed back in Hunt and Pacheco.
Yep. I got Kittle, then I took Laporta. I took Hockenson coming off the injury. Coming off the expulsion. And I thought that, once they get him, that he would do well, that he still might be able to crack, but he didn't. And Dalton Schultz had a really down year for the Texans. I don't know. I mean, so the only one of my guys that hit is Kittle and Kelce who did hit the top 10. So I had
Laporta was top 10, so you had three of the top 10.
So, but I was really kind of disappointed in Schultz and Hockenson. I just really thought that they, especially Schultz, because I really thought that he would get a lot of volume for the Texans this year because they were so successful going to the tight end last year. And to me, that's one of the things that really has hurt the Texans is the fact that they're not throwing it in the middle of the field to the tight end as much as they were doing last year. And I think that kind of hurts them. I think trying to get him to his, Stroud trying to hit those receivers and hit them deep, and it looks pretty and everything else. But man, sometimes you just hit that 5-7 yard check down to the tight end. That's a young quarterback's safety blanket right there. They just didn't utilize it this year.
Yeah.
All righty, that's my thoughts. So let's go to Mr. Brendan. Brendan, on your tight ends, you took Kelce. You went Kittle. You went, once again, 1-2, the same idea. You then took Pitts, Andrews, and Dalton Kincaid. And looks like 3 of your boys hit. And, of course, the big one for me is Andrews made the comeback.
Yeah, which was so surprising to me that he finished third and probably costed me 4 fantasy games to start the season. But he goes on a surge when I start tanking.
Well, was it Likely who was getting all the catches early?
First, yeah.
I think when I look at this, Kyle Pitts, I really was kind of big on, like I said, same reason Cousins, all these guys I thought they would be unlocked. But Dalton Kincaid, because before they got another wide receiver, I thought he was just going to eat target after. I thought he was going to have the Brock Bowers season. Because Brock Bowers is the only Raider receiver, really. They got Jacoby Myers for that 1,000-yard season, really good. But I mean, like, volume. And I thought he was going to be that guy for Buffalo.
Well, I think the thing that changed for Buffalo, that really changed the landscape, because they've got 2 or 3 really good tight ends in Buffalo, right? Okay. Was the fact that James Cook ran the football well and was catching and he was catching the football. So not only do you have a quarterback that's running the football, you got James Cook that's running the football well. That changed the dynamic of where the team. And so I think that the receivers and the quarterbacks lost. Excuse me, the tight ends lost receptions to what was going on there in the running game.
Absolutely.
All right, Clint. You went Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid, and George Kittle. And so, what did you hit? 4?
I'll take it. I'll take it. My big one was McBride. I really, really like McBride. He, in my personal fantasy league that I run, he's my tight end. I really like him coming into the year. I did not think he would maintain the number 1 target role in that offense. I really did think it'll go to Marvin. I think next year it probably will after another off season. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a little bit of a down, disappointing year, but I think he'll be fine. But Trey McBride really looked good. Happy to see him get in the end zone these last 2 weeks finally after setting the record for the most catches without a touchdown pass. And he helped me win my fantasy championship in the league that I run. So I'm very happy. Again, I'm right there with you, Brendan. Dalton Kincaid I really did. I thought he was going to be the guy. And there was a lot of games there. They were manufacturing touches for him, and it just wasn't coming to fruition. And speaking of that Buffalo offense, can we talk about how Amari Cooper has done nothing since he got there?
He had that one game when he first got there.
He got a touchdown, and I kind of forgot about it until the other day, and I was like, I forget he's on the team.
Well, that's because honestly, before, it was either Josh Allen running it in or they would hit the tight end in the end zone.
Yeah.
Okay. James Cook has changed all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
And once again, I just think that he has been the difference maker on that team offensively. That's just helped elevate what Josh Allen does. Mm-hmm. And so to me, that's a big change for them more than anything else. So I think that, like I said, I just think that the Cook factor is what's changed the dynamic of the tight end position.
Absolutely.
Okay. All righty. So here's the tough one here, man.
This is where it gets fair.
Did we go over 15?
We did. We went over 15.
We got the defensive player of the year. Now, of course, I'm picking. When I pick my players, I picked them from all different positions. But here's your top 10 scoring defensive players. Okay, Franklin, Bond, Spillane, Baker, Ellis, Sherwood, Branch, Brooks, Pratt, and Cross. Of all of those players, 3 of them are defensive backs. Okay, that's Baker, Branch, and Cross. The rest are linebackers. The closest defensive lineman to try to crack in the top 10, I looked it up, was Alex Van Ginkel with 164 points.
Yeah, the 2 pick sixes. Yeah.
And so he was the only defensive lineman that came close to cracking into the top 10. And so there you go. I took Aluakon. Once again, he didn't make it. Of course, I picked T.J. Watt and Matt Crosby as my lineman. I took Danielle Hunter and then Nick Bosa. Those were my top 5 individual players that I thought that would really have outstanding years. And really, Aluakon had a great year. Except for when he was hurt. But when he wasn't hurt,
all your players had good years.
Watt is, arguably he could be defensive player of the year. There, Crosby got hurt. Hunter had a great year, 12 sacks for the Texans, and then Bosa. But none of my guys really hit. When I look at the list of the players that did hit, man, I would just say that I think Bond had the best season.
Oh, he did.
Of those 10 guys, I just really think that his contribution.
Oh, he's made himself so much money because he's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
He's going to make him some money.
So it's to me that was the biggest player that I saw in the top 10 that made me go, yeah, that's a guy there. All right, so looking over here now, going to your list, Mr. Brendan. You took Aluakon as well. You took Watt as well. I mean, you kind of like 1 and 2 all over the place, aren't we?
Did.
Then you got Nick Bosa, Daniil Hunter. You got him on your list too, and then Michael Parsons. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think just looking at it, I would love to have this on my defense, honestly, in the fantasy league. But yeah, we 0 for 15 on it.
Yep. Continuing to mine. I mean, I took Roquan, I took Alokan, Watt, Ernest Jones the fourth, which was kind of a sleeper of mine, and then Aiden Hutchinson, who started out real quick.
Got hurt, yeah.
Yeah, Hutchinson was looking really good. I mean, he was leading the league in sacks there for a minute and then got hurt. So unfortunate, but hey, that's why defense is a toss-up, man. Defense is a toss-up.
It's a tough thing to pick, and it's one of the reasons why you can in your fantasy leagues. It's easy to do drops with them, and then add
defense,
and then you can try to play the weak and the opponent for the defensive
a lot
player
more,
than you can in the other.
Well, because
position.
especially if you just know, they're going against the worst defensive line or the worst offensive line in the league. Let me just pick up a defender, and if he gets a sack, then you're happy.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing though is with me and Kelly's picks here, you don't bench any of these guys.
No,
I can see the Ernest Jones.
Oh no, he was a starter all year.
But that's what I mean. But like every other player we're picking, you're not dropping.
No,
This
you're
is-
not.
this is-
You're not.
You pick them and they stay there.
yeah. Alrighty, let's look at our sleepers, and of course my sleepers. I took Bo Nix, Aaron Jones, George Pickens, Hayden Hurst, and Will Anderson Jr. as my 5 sleeper picks. And to me, 2 of them hit: Bo Nix and Aaron Jones.
I think three.
Pickens
I think
hit.
Pickens.
You give me Pickens?
I give you
But he didn't make the top 10. I was looking at his
Oh,
stats. He didn't
okay.
make the top 10 as far as.
If you get a top 15 to top 20, I'm happy as a sleeper pick. 'Cause that's really what you do.
But I mean, yeah, and I really thought that Hayden Hurst might have had a shot over there with the Chargers, but that just did not come to fruition because they just simply ran the football, especially the first half of the season. Second half of the season, Herbert and them opened it up a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But I was really happy with Nix and Jones. I really thought that they had done well, and I agree with you. You know, Pickens over the top with Russell Wilson was really, really good. But I can't complain about mine. Brandon, you took Zach Moss, Terry McLaurin, Pat Fryermuth, J.K. Dobbins, and Kean Coleman. What do you think?
Well, my number 1 pick was killed by a rookie. I thought this would be his year. The rookie gets it next year. McLaurin and Pat, I thought were still good picks. I think they both made it up there. Dobbins, I thought
Dobbins had a good season until he got really hurt.
And then Coleman, I don't know. I just that was a shot in the dark because the
It's
Bills
a
had
win,
nobody
yeah,
when we made it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, Buffalo's receiving core is just right now. It's Allen's throwing to everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
he's
don't. He
spreading the
does.
wealth.
He's not signaling in on a. So you're talking about fantasy. Typically speaking, it's going to be the receivers that get honed in on more times than not. And then usually you're 8 to 20 are going to be players that kind of share the load and stuff. But those top 1 to 8 picks, they're the ones that are just getting most of the targets on a regular basis and stuff like that. And right now with Buffalo, they don't have that go-to number 1 guy right now. And so that's the difference there. Clint, you took Kean Coleman as well. Calvin Ridley, Devin Singletary, Javonte Williams, and Cole Kmet.
Yeah, obviously Keon Coleman's probably is the big miss here. I feel good about Ridley. I had him in a few leagues. He definitely, down the stretch, second half of the year, he had a lot better season, especially once they opened it up and was actually throwing it to him.
Might be something for the Titans.
It might. I think he will be. Singletary started out the year looking pretty good, but that Tyrone Tracy, the second best rookie back this year, kind of come in and definitely took over the workload. Javonte was okay, and Cole Kmet had a couple of decent little starts. So overall, not the best. I definitely lose the sleeper pick there, but I'm happy about the Ridley. And if you play Dynasty or you play Keeper, I'm definitely looking to keep him because he's looked good. I know he's older, but he looked good.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of mileage.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Because of his injuries, time missed, this, that, and the other, he doesn't have the mileage.
No, he does not.
And so I think you got him good for the next 3-4 years, and I think there's potential there for him. So there you go.
out.
Guys, that's how we do with our fantasy choices, man. I hope yours fantasy choices worked out good for you because some of mine did not. Man, we've been the Red Squad. I'm the Water Dog.
This is Clint Jordan.
This is
Bernard.
gang. We are out of here.